Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Kris, I'm 26 years old and I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I was invited by Parker to start contributing to its Tea Time collab channel, so I'm really stoked about this. I'm really happy to be part of the crew, so thanks heaps for that, man. Like I said, I'm from Australia, so I think we're like 16 hours or something out time difference between America, so I'm going to try and work out my videos so that they come to you guys on a Saturday, but yeah, bear with me with that because I'm just trying to yeah, get it in sync with when I have to upload them to get that happening. But I'll do my best. So this one's a day late, sorry, probably for you guys. So I'm 11 months on T. I'm pre-op. I've had no surgeries. I plan to get my top surgery in August, and I hope to get the other surgeries down the track. But that all depends on the technology improvements and things like that, which is, I guess, what we're talking about this week. So it's week 45, and the question is, where would you like to see trans people in the future? What are your goals, hopes, dreams for us medically, technologically, legally, financially, etc.? Um, I think the most important thing is I would really love it for there to be more trans awareness. And I think that this starts with education, definitely in the healthcare sector. They need to have better, sorry, education themselves. They really need to upgrade their skills with where they're currently at, but I'll talk about that in a sec. Um, Someone else said something about the education starting from when a person is like in primary school. I think that's really good. Like I think that really needs to happen. Um, you know, if you teach someone from a really young age about this sort of stuff, they are far less likely to be judgmental, far more open-minded, and just see things that aren't so black and white. I think that when you try and educate older people about things like this, it's a lot harder because their thinking's already quite rigid, and so to be able to change that is more challenging. I think that we still need to educate the rest of society as well, who are past their school years, as best as what we can. I try to educate people when I come across people who don't know about trans stuff. I I try and do my part in educating those people. I think it's important for us to be able to educate if we feel we're in a safe environment and if we feel like we're comfortable in doing it, because you know I wasn't comfortable for a fair chunk of my first part of my transition, and I don't think it would have been fair for someone to ask me at that point and say that it was my role to educate others when I didn't even feel comfortable with it myself. So it's up to each person, but I think if you do feel comfortable, it's great for you to be able to participate and educate others around you. Um, I mean, if you think about how far we've come, people that are generations above us and generations above them, now each generation has tried to fight for more rights. And it's because of those rights we're able to get our market changed. It's because of those rights we're able to change our names and things like that. So I guess it's about not taking that stuff for granted and about also trying to continue to improve that and help the generations that are coming next in line as well. So I think that education is massive, probably the thing that I would want to see most changed with our trans futures. Um, I guess the next point for me is the healthcare system. So at the moment we have a public healthcare system called Medicare, and generally the basic sort of health requirements and stuff like health problems and stuff, they're covered through that. Anything related to trans stuff is not. And I think that that needs to change. If someone has a disability or something that they couldn't help from birth, which is really the same as being trans, then they're able to get assisted with that, or at least get some percentage off and of the costs and things. Now we don't have that, and that's something I think definitely needs to shift. I think that I watched Beck's video, I think it was, who said about us the need to have more clinics, more professionals and stuff out there to be able to help with trans people. I couldn't agree more with that as well. I think that not only do we need a lot more clinics and a lot more professionals, but the professionals that we do have also need to upgrade their skills. I can use a couple of examples that I've had. My endocrinologist wrote me a letter to give to my doctor, so that which was explaining to her basically what I was planning on doing and asking her to do my shots for me. I gave that to her, and I still needed to explain to her, despite her reading the letter, what I was doing, what my plans were, why I was doing this, all sorts of questions that I don't even know she had the right to ask me. And then for the next 3 times or something after that, when I went to see her, she would ask me the same questions. She said that she never met anyone who's FTM, and so I guess that in itself is a problem, because if health professionals aren't even aware about us, then nobody else is going to be aware about us either. So they need to upgrade their skills first and foremost, to be able to help the people who they're supposed to be helping with, like us, being their clients. They need to upgrade their skills, and that needs to be part of their education in universities. So yeah, I guess it comes back to education in schools for society, but education in university for professionals. Um, yeah, my psychiatrist that I have to see as well, and I'm not sure how long I have to see him for, but I know it's an ongoing process that I have to see him for quite a long time. And I don't really feel the need to see him. Like, I think that it's important to see a psychologist when you first start transitioning, because it's not just the hormones that you've got to alter, but it's, you know, the way that transitioning affects your friendships, your family life, your relationship, if you're in one, your employment, school life, everything in your life it affects. Not necessarily badly, but it does change things. So I think it's good to be able to check in with someone who is a professional and be able to talk about some of that stuff. In saying that, though, I don't think it should be a requirement that should be ongoing, like, say, after, I don't know, a year or something of being on T, or 6 months, or... I think it's based on the person as well. You can't put a time limit on one person, it might be totally different for another. But I just think that it shouldn't be an ongoing requirement that you have to see a psych. I mean, we pay enough money as it is, you know, and then we have to see a psych on top of it. So I just think that it's, you know, if you don't need to do it, then scrap it, you know, like, we need to be able to have some choice with this ourselves as well. Um, I think that we need to have, obviously, like, way better options for surgery. It's pretty bad, the bottom surgery that we have available to us at the moment. You know, I think a lot of people could end up having those surgeries and then still feel dysphoric because it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. You know, it causes a whole heap of other problems. Like, they're not great at the moment, the options, and I think that's why so many people are put off it. For myself personally, I'm, like, pretty dysphoric about my lower area, so you know, if there was a possibility, I would be saving that money, and it is a hell of a lot of money, but I would be trying to save it and get that surgery done. But, you know, for me, I think that like, the healthcare sector should be able to pay, you know, at least some amount of that huge cost. Um, and secondly, like, the functioning of it needs to definitely improve. But so hopefully, you know, within 5 years or something, if they're able to improve that, I would definitely be, you know, hoping to get that anyway, or at least start saving for it. So, um, the other thing I wanted to say was, I really want in the DSM for us to be taken out of that. I think that they're doing a new version coming up soon, so it would be really good to get either, you know, being trans out of that. I don't think that it's necessary to have us in that DSM. And the flip side of that, I guess, it frustrates me, is if we are going to be in that DSM, if you're going to label someone, especially in something like the DSM, it gives them this label that they carry, and it gives them a stigma that they've got to carry with them in society. And with stigmas become very negative experiences for people. So if we're going to be labelled and stigmatised in a lot of ways, then really we should be receiving the benefits of that as well, which is payment for our treatment. Full stop. That's what I think about it. You know, it's not fair that you can label someone as this, but then not treat them. That doesn't make sense. Like, when you have other people in the DSM who have different sort of mental um, concerns and stuff, like, they're treated, and a lot of the time can get medication for free to be able to help with that treatment. I think that it's ridiculous that you can diagnose someone and label them, but then not help them. You know, that doesn't make sense to me. But anyway. And I guess also as well, because it's not cosmetic surgery, you know, like, this is a physical. This is something that, you know, apparently is something in our brains that's from a young age, and whatever the theory is, it's something that, you know, is often from a young age. So, you know, I think that it's, yeah, it needs to be, that needs to be able to be taken into consideration, and insurance or public health sector needs to pick up their act with that. Um, the last thing I wanted to talk about was the gender marker. So in Australia, well, in Melbourne, Australia anyway, we have to have 2 surgeries, so chest surgery and either hysterectomy or, you know, bottom surgery, before we can change our marker. This is ridiculous. Like, it causes so many problems, I think, for people where they don't want to have I don't think that you should have to choose either to have a hysterectomy. I think that if you want to just have your surgery, you should be able to just have your surgery, but you shouldn't be forced to have it, you know. I think you should be able to have your gender marker as whatever you want without having to have those surgeries, especially when the surgeries are totally, really, really costly, and just a lot of people can't afford it. And the results don't turn out really good, so why would someone want to do that and just to be able to change their marker? It's not a very fair system. So I think that that needs to definitely change. You know, I've had a lot of problems going into places and people are outing me in the middle of like facilities and going, oh, this can't be you, this says F. And yeah, that's been pretty embarrassing. And then they can't even change it on the spot. So every time you deal with that same organisation, the same problem comes up. And that's not really fair, I don't think. So I think that needs to change. I work for a place, I work in welfare services, so they're pretty good with this sort of stuff. My work is great with this, absolutely brilliant. But I think that is what's really important is that we are able to get, especially on anything that's related to healthcare forms and stuff like that, there needs to be that option of male, female, and transgender. You know, like, it's not just male and female, and until those health professionals understand that and it's on those forms, it's going to be black and white and it's going to continue to. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for that. Sorry guys, this has gone on for a bit long. Yeah, I'm really stoked to be part of the channel again, like I said, and take care of each other. See you guys.